Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spiritual Climax Show. I'm your host, Mark Knight. Tonight, we will get into a subject that everyone loves to get into. I said I was going to steer away from it, but it keeps coming up, so I'm going to dive into it. Why not? Tonight, the subject is sex, and it is mental and not physical. I'm making that case and making that claim because whenever someone, most of the time anyway, most people, when they think about sex, they think about sex, and it's always physical attraction that they're speaking about. But the thing is that when you really get down to it, and this may sound elementary for some people, I'm going to put it out there anyway. The thing is that sex is more to do with the mind than it does to do with the actual act of having sex. Okay, the penis and the vagina. Okay, you actually determine within the first, I'll say first 30 seconds to a minute of having sex, whether or not the sex is going to be good. That may sound crazy to some people, but if you really stop and think about it, you have more to do with whether or not the person you are having sex with is good to you or not. If you're having sex and no matter how good it is, that person says the wrong thing to you, okay, it takes your mind off of the sex, you can automatically just shut down and decide that sex isn't good anymore. And that's the mind. It's not the body. The body is willing, okay, but something upstairs, something in your brain got turned off. You call it being turned off, but what you're really saying is that my mind is no longer thinking about sex. I'm no longer in the mood, as most people would say. Okay. Now, in that also comes a reality that sex is nothing but an illusion of the mind. It's stimulated by things that you like. Okay? Whether it be the position you're being put in, different things. Okay? When I meet a woman that is attractive to me, of course the first thing that's going to hit my eyes is her face, her body, even my nose will, she has on a certain fragrance, it'll pick up her scent, might notice the way she walked, the way she talked, different things like that. Okay, but at the end of the day, I'm still the one thinking those thoughts. So when it comes to the actual sex itself, no matter how good she looks, she could still be bad to me. If I decide in my mind that she's not good. You are literally judged by the opinion of the partner that you're with. Okay? It's just a thought. There's no such thing as you're good or you're not good. It's all a matter of opinion. It's all a matter of perception. Okay? Someone could be good in bed that is nothing to someone else. You know, but to you, they could be the greatest ever. Greatest lover you've ever had. Right? So, just understand that chances are, if you're not having good sex, there is that possibility that you could be the reason why the sex isn't good to you. It may be all in your mind. There may be, especially in marriages, this happens a lot in marriages. Alright? You've been with a person for a long time and you've seen all they got and you've done everything there is to do. And you run out of ideas to keep the magic. Literally, the sex magic. Right? And you get to a point where it becomes stale. You at that point have to bring back the fantasy. It's not so much about the dressing up or doing things like that. Is what it's about is being alone, and having time to actually allow your mind, because a lot of times we get caught up in work and different things, different errands we gotta run, we gotta rip and run all over the place. But if you allowed yourself to calm down and have those moments of free time, okay, you'll find out that the sex is probably just as good as it's always been. It's just that it's not as good to you now because you may have kids and you may be in a hurry. You may, and it's just not what it used to be. But that's all mental, not physical. So what ends up happening a lot of times, we end up cheating. Okay? Whenever you get to the point where you're like, it's just not doing it for me anymore. Sex just isn't what it used to be. What do you end up doing? You end up cheating. You're searching for something. You're searching for something, that feeling that you once had. But the problem is, if you would slow down, a lot of times you'll find out that it's really all in your head. The person that you're with that excited you before is still, a lot of times, still the same person. But it's all in your mind. You're caught up with work. You're caught up with life. And life can mentally drain you. And because sex is mental and not physical, you can become just drained to the point where it's no longer satisfactory to you. You have to free your mind. Take some free time. Okay? Get some free time. And have good sex. Let your mind go. Don't think about what you're doing or who you're doing it with necessarily. Let whatever problems you have go. Whatever beef you may have with your significant other, let that go. Don't worry about the different arguments and different things that you have, because that can also get in the way. You have to let it go. Society tries to make sex sound like it's this evil thing. Of course, church, it's a sin, if you're not married and this, that, and the other. But sex is a part of life. You wouldn't get here without it. Okay? You wouldn't be here without sex. Okay? So, the truth is, you can't even you can't even have a baby without sex. It's just natural. So you have to let nature take its course. You have to free your mind, become one with nature again, become one with your significant other again. Okay? Because it's really all in your mind. No one can make you have an orgasm. I'm going to say that again. No one can make you have an orgasm except you. Your mind decides when it's going to allow that eruption to take place. That's all in your head. It's all in your mind. That's not something that someone is doing to you, right? Oftentimes in sex, what do people say? They say, it's yours, right? But in actuality, it's not mine. Even though I'm having sex with you and you're saying it's mine, it doesn't belong to me. It really belongs to you, right? And your body. You're using me as the instrument to allow it, to climax. But in reality, in your mind, you're deciding that I'm giving you good sex. You're deciding that I'm making good love to you. And a lot of times, especially women, right? You determine that within, like I said, as soon as you get ready to have sex. You already know whether the sex is going to be good or not. You've already determined in your mind that this is going to be good, and sometimes this is not going to be good. It's true. Okay? And the ones that disagree with that are people that aren't open-minded and really aren't thinking about what I'm saying. You have to understand that your thoughts come first before your action. Okay? Mind over matter. You think it, and then it becomes a reality. So you think the sex, and then the sex becomes what you thought it to be. So if you thinking that your significant other isn't good to you anymore, is because you already had the thought before you even got into bed that this isn't good to me anymore. Free your mind, and the rest will come. I promise you. Guarantee it. Alright?